qualify for this tournament as well. So he'll be coming into this very excited to try and find that same form as we are underway between these two competitors. It's going to be Jonny from left to right and Emre from right to left in the white strip. And as a reminder, 9-minute halves here. Winner takes all, because we will be going to extra time and penalties if we need it. No draws can happen here in the group stages, and already Jonny's found a long ball here to Saka, and maybe he could have a chance to try and find his way into the box. Does find a shot. Courtois saves. Second chance, and a Courtois again.
That's an important save there. Corner, though.
We know what Jonny can do from corners. We've already seen it. You can see keeper movement to try and stop the potential header from Erling Haaland, but he's at the back post. Doesn't quite get hold of it, though, and it will be a goal kick.
Yeah, doesn't manage to get the ball on target there. It's key to mention there, of course, 3 games going on in this group, as well as this one, of course. We've got Web Nasri up against Jafonzo. He's flying right now. We've got Mark 11 up against Levi David, and Young against Abu Maka. Young and Abu Maka, of course, both winning their first games. So it's interesting to see who will win their second and get the best over their opponent.
Well, Haaland plays one into Messi, and that's quickly intercepted. Just give you an update on those scores, by the way. Jafonzo currently 3-0 up against Web Nasri, so he's looking like he is cruising. And on the other side, you've got Mark 2-1 up against Levi David right now, and Young is drawing 2-2 with Abu Maka. So plenty of goals happening elsewhere. But at the moment, we've only just kicked this thing off, so all square here between Jonny and Emre, as we can look back at some replays that we have from the other games, as Jafonzo took the lead in a very impressive early start, 5 minutes in.
Yeah, the thing is, he makes it look so easy. Again, Arne and Ronaldo just running into the space there, ball on inside. It's very lucky, to be honest, that time there, but a green time finish across the face of goal to give him a 2-goal lead against Web Nasri, and he didn't let up. Scored another one straight away almost. Goalkeeper movement wasn't enough. Hold on. Should have been a goal there.
In, and there was a chance there as well, and Emre might be a little bit frustrated. He wasn't able to do anything better with it. But maybe that's just a couple of warning signs coming in already for Jonny. You cannot afford to allow Emre to get through on goal. As you can see, live match, Mark is currently 2-1 up against Levi David. And is Levi going to come back into the game yet again, as Saka now has the ball? Does have assistance. Messi tries to strike one, but it's denied.
Yep, keeper movement as well there from EmreYilmaz. If the ball was on target, I don't think it would have gone in. When you have the likes of Messi, you've got Saka, you've got R9 and Haaland, all with the finesse shot plus play style, you kind of know to move the goalkeeper when any sort of space opens up for that opportunity. See
Schweinsteiger playing there. You mentioned he might appear for Jonny, and certainly has come to fruition. Maybe he could be the difference maker. You can see also Abu Maka, the home crowd favourite, is tied up 2-2 against Young in the moment as the ball is through to Lionel Messi here. Has to hold up, has to take the shot, and finesses it into the top corner on his right foot, may I add. Doesn't matter which foot with Lionel Messi. Absolute beast.
It's an incredible goal. I think he knows that if he carried on running directly in on goal there, he would have been caught. I don't think Messi has the sprint speed to keep up there and get past the defender, especially if they were becoming shoulder to shoulder. He would have been muscled off, but he done a little bit of acceleration, a ball roll inside, and as you mentioned, the weaker foot, albeit 5-star, finds its way into the top corner. Konate was catching him up. It's just a ball roll there. Mistimes it as well. But again, just the accuracy and prowess of Messi in front of goals manages to find the back of the net in this game.
So there's the opener for Jonny. And again, he finds himself ahead now. Can he hold on to this lead? Can he build from this lead? Where he was unable to do so against Levi David previously. Of course, teammate of Emre, so I'm sure there would have been a little whisper between the two as they passed by in the hallways of Emre saying, well, what's the secret? How do I take down Jonny here? And Levi David probably just said, well, keep an eye on those corners. Don't allow him to get too many of them. But he probably didn't say, watch out for Lionel Messi in his right foot. Nice through ball here is now maybe a chance for Emre to respond instantly. Mbappe dancing on the ball, waiting for a little bit of assistance. Doesn't have it, so just goes on his own, and it's well defended here by Jonny.
Great defending from Jonny. Didn't dive in, just sort of bided his time, jockeyed backwards, sprinted at the right moments to try and mirror Emre's attacking player, and he done really, really well there.
It's another good ball. This time finds Haaland, cuts inside. R9, but it's going to be a good save from Czech. Tried to go near post, just couldn't beat the goalkeeper. Corners, though, can always be a difference maker. Shifts over to Haaland with his control. Tries to get the head, will do so, but Czech again will deny here. And I think we're going to see a lot of this. Czech versus Haaland throughout the game, but finally Haaland gets one over him. And Emre ties us up 1-1.
It's a perfectly aimed corner there from Emre. Jonny does move the keeper, but it's not enough. You can't really get there in time. And the movement there from EmreYilmaz with Haaland in front of the defender And when he does that, he's in front of Konate. The keeper comes out. As long as you get the ball on target, for me, it's a guaranteed goal. And that's exactly what EmreYilmaz done there. And the thing about Emre, he's very meticulous. He's very precise and meticulous in every aspect of the game. Corners, he would put in countless hours just to try and master that, to create different scenarios of what he can score from. Defending corners, build-up play, long balls over the top. The pressing, as you can see there, is intense from him in every aspect of the game. It's just, he's always perfect, which, that's why I'm surprised at losing 4-0 to Jafonzo. It shows how good Jafonzo's been playing.
Well, usually 99 rated items like Haaland unobtainable, but you can just get it through the season pass now. It's insane that everyone has access to this item, but R9's been able to bring that one down. He's tackled, and now we'll see Jonny again just approaching the defense of Emre here. Space on the right hand side. You can see Saka trying to make that run. Will make that run. Is he going to strike it? No, he's going to be denied. Konate defends very well, and it will go out for a goal kick here. So a good chance, and certainly Saka creating some good space here from Jonny. But Emre kind of had his number there and said, look, I'm happy for you to pull the trigger from a distance, but I think I'm going to try and stride closer to that goal. You can see the switch is on if he wants to play it. So much room over towards the right, but instead just trying to force it down the left-hand side at the moment. There's a lot of bodies, and finally, there's the switch, as expected here.
Gives him space to build up as well. Hoslu back to Saka. Does well to retain possession and earn a free kick. There weren't too many spaces to get the ball forward in that space. It was more so just to recycle possession, and of course, fortunately, earned a free kick there.
Well, will Erling Haaland be the target again from this corner? Whipped in, Haaland is there, but Konate does his job, and now you can see the breakaway available for Jonny. Trying to be quick, trying to send those players forward. Haaland's already gone. Haaland's going to be able to get hold of this one, but has to try and beat a defender, which he does. Can he get the strike away? No. Virgil van Dijk, that's also why he's in your team, as Haaland does rescue it back. Second bite of the cherry, maybe, but not quite enough, and no third chance.
Wow, that's a big piece of defending there from Van Dijk and EmreYilmaz. I'll interrupt myself. You can see the scoreline on the screen. There's a goal back in that game between Web Nasri and Jafonzo. It's now 3-1, still the lead for Jafonzo. But Web Nasri manages to get a goal back in that game. But as I was saying, I think Jonny done extremely well there with Haaland. The first touch wasn't perfect. Hold on a second.
Hold on a second. Mbappe maybe could try and find Ronaldo here. Does, but now suddenly bodies are starting to build up. You have to do something special. Step overs aren't quite enough. Maybe on the counter attack. De Bruyne, what, that is a ping and a half, as now Haaland's going to be on the end of this one again. This time he has to try and dig one to the back post, but Saka's not usually the target for those headers. And now instead, Emre gets a chance. It's back and forth action in this game, and I'm not surprised, both of them trying to take advantage of players being out of position here. And again, Jonny's marching forward. Again, it's an in-swinging cross, but this time Courtois denies.
Yeah, it really is end-to-end. Both players, as you mentioned, just trying to make the most of the space that opens up when the other player attacks, and gives time now for Emre just to slow it down a little bit before building up a well-calculated attack.
Yeah, Hoslu just playing it back to Virgil van Dijk, trying to get the 1-2 on the go, but Stones is more than prepared, as Jonny is definitely prepared for that pass to happen. Instead, he goes for a dink over of his own, but Haaland gives the ball away, and Hoslu gets another chance to try and attack this right-hand side. Saka was making the run through, that gets denied as well. And again, it just seems like ping-pong at the moment. Back and forth, they play their shots. But no one can really get into the box. But now that could change. Haaland on the left, has support in the middle, but goes to the edge of the box. And defensively, Emre was there.
Yeah, I think he expected maybe De Bruyne to occupy a better position there to try and play the pass and recycle possession. Doesn't get the rub of the green there, Emre does, but it's going to be Jonny to retrieve possession again. I think Jonny, across both games so far in this one, of course, I think he's played relatively well. I think sometimes giving away possession needlessly like there, but other than that, I think most of his attacks have been well thought out.
Well, can he defend this one? Or is Haaland maybe going to let rip? And he does. Check, though, has earned his weight in gold, if I'm completely honest with how he's played so far. But Haaland now will again try and attempt a header, and Check saves, but if you keep giving corner after corner, it's more chances for Haaland to try. That one goes a little bit too far, though.
Yeah.
And I think that's your hope, isn't it, really, that if you're defending these corners, you hope they overhit it.
Yeah, you have to hope your opponent makes the mistake there, and that's exactly what Emre done there. Just a little bit too much power with that corner. So got Messi again. It's just the balls over the top from Jonny. They're relentless. It's Hoslu.
Will be a corner, though. Jonny's been fantastic with these so far this tournament. There's Haaland, but Courtois saves. It seems like Haaland gets ahead on it 90% of the time.
It's just the battle of the corners, really. It's the 24. That's something you have to maximize. And you know it benefits you offensively, but defensively you have to be sharp as well. What a ball over the top from Emre.
Oh, Stones, though, isn't going to be as quick as everyone else. Probably wants to try and find someone. Oh, well, surely not! Stones! As Brandon Smith would say, of all people, it's Stones who slams one in.
Oh, my goodness. It's sensational from EmreYilmaz. Just twisting and turning. He knows that Jonny's not going to think that's a viable option to twist and turn with John Stones and step over into space. And this item of John Stones, of course, 5-star skill moves and 5-star weak foot. But the shooting at 66, you sort of would allow him to shoot, give him the space. You kind of trust that he wouldn't opt for it. And it's just perfect from him. Green time, which you have to do in those situations. And it's a perfect goal from Emre.
That's outrageous to attempt that with John Stones, by the way. I don't care if he's got 5-star weak foot. I don't care if he's got 5-star skills. You can only laugh if you're on the other side. We've seen some crazy goals across the FC competitive season from players you would least expect. As the ball's played over the top, can Haaland get hold of it? Courtois brings down the player, but he does get the ball first as we go into half-time. The half-time whistle is blown, and it's a 2-1 lead for EmreYilmaz in what has been, I don't know, I think I want to catch my breath shortly here, Ryan, because it was so back and forth between these two.
Yeah, it's an entertaining first half, and probably deserved a few more goals, in fact. And I think for Jonny now, mentally going into, if I'm playing against somebody that's confident enough to step over with John Stones and shoot in his weaker foot, what won't you do? So you kind of have to think about that now. When any player is in an offensive area, you have to be a bit more, I guess, take a step back a little bit and be less aggressive, a bit more passive, and sometimes that could work to open up spaces for the finesse shot or maybe a driven pass to a striker. It's a very dangerous position that Emre's in now, in a positive way, because Jonny's going to have to think a lot more now.
We can look back at replays elsewhere. Mark versus Levi David. And the first goal went in favour of Mark as he took a goal lead, and it wasn't just one. He doubled up to make it 2 through Erling Haaland, but then there was somewhat of a fight back in the first half.
Oh, wow.
Levi David able to just perfectly position the ball onto Erling Haaland there.
Yeah, that ball back, and in the first time, didn't go over the top. Was Mark again with Saka. It's a shot across goal. 18 minutes in, he was 3-1 up there in that game. Mark 11 against Levy. That is one way to get points on the board, defeat somebody like Levy for Mark 11. To give yourself that confidence and that boost of morale to know that you're still in contention to finish top 3 in this group.
It is still 3-1 in that game, by the way, so Levi David has to work hard in the final minute. Speaking of working hard, Mbappe almost able to beat Petr Cech right off the rip here into the second half. As Emre's looking to try and find a third. This time it's Kanate. When you just think you've marked Haaland, there's someone else who can put the ball away.
Yep, exactly that. The ball is whipped deeper than normal. And Kanate, of course, manages to get the space there and the trajectory to jump above the defenders and aim that into the bottom corner. You see, Jonny looks deflated. He looks defeated, but he has still time to get back into this game. It's a very, very tough one to take. Just after half-time to concede is very difficult it's a difficult pill to swallow. I think what's hard as well is that he knows he's played Emre before in a big tournament and he lost 6-1. So now he's 3-1. The mind, you know as a player, if someone's defeated you by that margin, when you get to similar score lines, you start to have a little bit of a flashback thinking, oh no, this could be another situation where I'm going to lose by X amount of goals. So you have to respond quickly.
You're just thinking, here we go again, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's going to be another scenario where I find myself getting demolished by my opponent. But Jonny needs to think back to what happened in the game against him and Levy. Right, he had a 3-1 lead, and then he lost it 4-3. He knows it's doable. You know you can come back from this scenario. Just needs to dig deep and find something a little bit extra here. Maybe Hosselu can find a ball in, but instead he plays it back to Mbappe. This could be the chance.
Oh.
Doesn't go for the shot, tries to cut it back. And Emre was there and waiting.
Yeah, I think he expected R9 to take up a better position there. But Emre's done so well just to give Jonny so much to think about, whether it's the balls over the top, the direct speed boost into space, which...
Oh, wow, speaking about balls over the top, what a finish as well. And there's your ticket back into the game for Jonny. Able to defend that cutback previously, and right on the counter-attack, finds the goal of his own.
That's how harsh FC24 can be. On one end, you think, all right, I'm going to go 4-1 up in Emre's perspective. a minute down the other end. It's a simple ball over the top from Jonny. It kind of reminds me of Jonny from the E-Champions League. Those first-time passes with the likes of De Bruyne and R9. A beautiful finish into the top corner.
It's so terrifying playing at this time of the year, by the way, with the items that are available. You just got to expect those goals to be banged in by these type of players.
You have to worry about finesse shots from deep. You've got to worry about from John Stones. You've got to worry about first-time passes being a lot more accurate because of the play styles a lot of players will have, the passing stats, the pace in behind. There's so much to think about.
Well, one thing that Jonny can't think about now is that he is very much back in this game. As we can look back at replays from elsewhere. Remember, Mark was 3-1 up over Levi David. But in the 84th minute, Levi David was able to find one. Will he be able to get back into the game? Will Emre be able to find a goal here? No, he's denied, and now Jonny can look to launch a counter-attack here.
Look at Saka.
Saka's got
he's
some
just
space, but he doesn't need to be there. He's
I
enough.
feel like he was... This is the thing. Jonny normally plays that ball first time, just like that.
Just like that, but this one, there is no offside. Keeper movement does just force Haaland to double think where he's going to be heading. And now, sadly, Emre's not able to capitalise on such a good ball from earlier, but this just shows how minimal there is between some of these plays. So close to being offside, but instead is just able to get through, and it's something that Jonny needs to be aware of here.
Yeah, absolutely. See Emre building up again. Just look at the options he's got. He can switch the play. He's got John Stones marauding forward again. Player lock inside.
Well, R9 doesn't decide to play the extra ball, but Saka's done enough. As now Czech is able to defend, as he's able to get an incredible save on board once more. But once more, you can see Emre just able to win that ball back in scary areas.
It's suffocating Jonny. Despite any area that Emre loses the ball, he's happy and confident enough to press forward and manually try and cut space again.
Here's Saka. Oh, and he shifts it across, and he shifts it through the keeper's legs. Somehow, Emre finds a 4-2 lead here. And you mentioned that Jonny earlier looked a little bit dejected. I think that one's going to hurt even more.
I'm with you, Jonny. I'll be honest. I expect more from my keeper. I think the way the tide was shifting, Emre deserved the goal. I think he's done well to break down Jonny's defense and create a lot of opportunities that on another day find the back of the net. That one, though, is a difficult pill to swallow from Jonny there. Just speed boost again, or the play into space from Saka. A lack of get a cancel into a shot. I'll be honest, Dan, I saved that. Let alone I want my keeper to save that. I want you to pick the ball up off the floor and start an attack.
That one's going to hurt. As you can see, confirmation, something else that might hurt. Mark just took down Levi David 3-2. So after a hot start from Levi, after beating Jonny, he now gives a victory away, and Mark is on the board.
It's massive. That's a huge victory for Mark 11 and Footwiz. It shows how competitive this group is as well, because on paper, I think a lot of players would associate Levi.
Oh, what a chance this is, by the way, for R9, and we're back in it. Jonny gets his third, and this game is not done just yet.
It really is, and I can barely finish a sentence before an attack stems again from either of these players. Jonny straight down the other end there, getting a goal back in this game, and I'd love to see the replay of that again. I believe it was a first-time ball over the top from Jonny, which again we've been accustomed to throughout the season of just a way how he attacks, and whether it's the little dinks into the strikers, we haven't seen much of that, but this is something we've seen quite a few times there. It's Hostelu just playing it. Messi first time over, it just about breaks the defensive line of Emre, and of course a Trivela finish to make it 4-3 in this game.
A little bit of frustration on the side of Emre as well. He knows he's giving a path back into the game. The window has very much opened now, but are we going to be able to see Jonny climb through it? Or can Emre shut it once more as he did previously, albeit somewhat fortunately with the Saka goal, although the lead up to the goal was good. I mean, the move you make with Saka, almost some might say deserves a goal.
Yeah, it's intense pressing. Again, you could argue a mistake there from Emre, straight from kickoff in possession.
Well, he can see a chance for Jonny, and actually R9 could hit this if he wanted to, but quick to defend is Emre to shut that one down. And again, defensively, you're always going to have players like Virgil van Dijk who can step in when you need them. Canate now plays one forward. You can see the pressure coming in from Jonny. He's trying to up the ante a little bit, but the free kick will be given, which will just slow things down and also open up some more space for Emre on the attack. Left is very clear here, so he will play that long raking through ball. It's Havertz who's now going to be on this left-hand side. I'm sure he could cause a little bit of a ruckus as well, especially if John Stones can. You know that Havertz can as well. Mbappe now plays one inside. Toni Kroos could shoot, will shoot, and will score. And again, Emre looks to try and create a gap between the two here.
The speed boost again from EmreYilmaz is he's the best in the world at that. It's unbelievable. It doesn't matter who it is. Tony Kroos in possession that you think, all right, maybe he's going to look for a first-time ball or recycle possession, maybe look for a driven pass to the striker. Takes the ball, speed boost into the space, and you can't really do anything unless you preemptively try and move a defender there. The replay will show it perfectly again. Mbappe to Tony Kroos, the speed boost straight off the touch. The green time finishing across goal. This is what I mean with Emre being meticulous and precise with every aspect of the game, because who else really does that?
So difficult to defend against, right?
Yeah. It's
Just
so
when you think
quick.
you've got a read, just when you think you've got a player in the right position, EmreYilmaz just plucks it away from you with the speed boost, and now he has a 2-goal lead yet again. And if you're Emre here, you're probably thinking, all right, I've allowed him back into the game time and time again. It's time to close this one out.
Absolutely, and I'm sure Emre, if he defends this kickoff and quick response, I think Emre will be confident enough to try his best and force Jonny to push more bodies forward.
And as a reminder, there's no draws in the group stage, so if Jonny were able to get back into it and take us to 5-5, it would be extra time and then penalties if we need them, but he has to try and find a fourth first, and you know full well Emre is going to make it difficult for him here. Does get a throw in though. Will allow him to maybe play a over-the-top through ball. He does attempt it on this right-hand side, but this time it is denied, and that's far better defending here from Emre.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's starting to understand that. I was about to bring this point up a little bit earlier, just before Jonny scored the third goal. I think Jonny's realised Emre's playing high depth, very high depth. He could be doing that or manually offside trapping, but the defence steps up very, very quickly. So those first-time balls over the top, if you trigger a run for Jonny, then you're basically in behind at all time. He's done it 2 or 3 times this game so far.
Still has possession here. The ball doesn't go out of play, and Emre now has a chance to finish this game off. Mbappe just cut inside. Saka, no, it's beautiful. It's magical. It's EmreYilmaz at his very best.
Oh, that running fake shot there to get around the defender, to play the pass, and the composure there in the box to pick the right choice, to take the touch, to turn, and to put the ball in the back of the net. And that is why Emre is one of the best players in the world, and a 6-3 win is one way to bounce back, get 3 points on the board, especially after losing 4-0 in your first game. And we're on course to seeing Jonny potentially being 0 points from a possible 6. 2 losses. And somebody that's got 2 wins is Jafonzo. Match finishing 6-1 against Web Nasri. So Jafonzo scoring 10 goals in 2 games at this level of competition is unbelievable from Jafonzo.
Jafonzo looking like the informed player at the moment, especially now off the back of this game and the back of Levi David losing a game. We have to look at who's going to be potentially going through. As now, Jonny, what's he got left? Has he got maybe a finesse? But no, just over. And with that going over, just wondering if there's too little time to get back into this one, as Emre can now use the clock to his advantage. He can play this ball around. He can do whatever he wants. He can even go for another goal if he wants to, because Haaland has all the room in the world. And this would be the final nail in the coffin, and it will be. EmreYilmaz will be getting 3 points from this game, and he's been pretty emphatic. Yep,
he has done. In the second half, he's been prodding and probing, creating a lot of opportunities to score goals, and it's 7 goals in his favour. And for Jonny, it's a shake of the head and a drink from the ball. He knows that there's no route back into this game. It's just a space. You can't really do anything. When you push forward, naturally bodies will be out of position, and your opponent can capitalise on it, and that's exactly what EmreYilmaz has done there. Green time finishing, finesse shot across the face of goal, and little nod of the head. He knows he's got 3 points on the board.
Well, elsewhere, Young versus Abu Maka is still going on, I believe, into extra time, and Young has just taken a 3-2 lead there against Abu Maka. You talk about these results, you talk about these games and how tight they are. It's so difficult to call these leaderboard because the favourites seem to be losing in some of these games, and really is changing everything.
Yeah, the thing is, Young, again, he's so good, but he wouldn't be someone I would say naturally top 3 in the group. Big save there to prevent further goals going in. But again, I spoke about Young's performance earlier on this season in the FC Pro World Championships against Anders. I think you could argue maybe even deserved to win that game, and he now really lost that game. I believe it was on penalties, if my memory serves correct. But Young is a top player and someone that could slide under the radar.
Well, we'd put Young at the top of the leaderboard with Jafonzo with 2 wins as well, 6 points, and the only 2 players to be up there, as everyone else has been trading back and forth with their victories. As a victory is very likely at this point for EmreYilmaz. There's no chance for Jonny to get back into this game, but goal difference could play a part in this tournament later on with tiebreakers. So it is still worth trying to either hold on to this 4-goal advantage or, of course, increase it to even more, as Jonny does have a chance to maybe decrease his goal difference. Sadly, though, it's rescued back by EmreYilmaz, who now marches forward yet again. That's a great ball through the middle. R9, though, will be contested by Konate.
Yeah, well defended as well there. There's been a strong performance from EmreYilmaz in this game. Jonny, it's a tough one to take. It's a very difficult one to take, and he knows he'll have to bounce back as quick as possible. When the thing is, the games don't let up. They don't really get too much easier than... It's a tough one because Jonny will know he has to bounce back as quick as possible. And in round 3, it's still a very difficult game for him to play. I believe he plays Mark 11.
Who's currently found a victory against Leverkusen, right? So it's insane, the back-to-back games you have to try and face. As maybe there's a chance for one more goal here, plays it back, and that goal difference will be increased by one more as EmreYilmaz makes it 8-3. So it was 6-1 back at the World Championships, but here at the Esports World Cup, 8-3 in favour of EmreYilmaz.
Yep, still a 5-goal difference between both of those results. And the thing about Emre, if you look at his play cam, you think maybe he's losing. No emotion. It's just cutthroat. It's very straightforward. He's here to do a job. He's still annoyed about the first loss. He'll be devastated about it, despite even winning this. And Emre's a top professional. He would definitely be thinking, could he have played that game a little bit different to try and get some sort of result from it?
Well, the final whistle about to come through, and there's the confirmation. EmreYilmaz shakes the hand of his coach, a pat on the back, and boy, does he deserve it. As you mentioned, he's focused, he looks locked in, he looks a little bit annoyed, despite the fact he's just destroyed his opponent. As he will walk across to, of course, give a little fist bump. His consolations towards Jonny, who now finds himself 2 games in and 0 points on the board.